All right, this is what I believe may very well be visible evidence of the firmament from this vantage point. Certainly beautiful. The sun is about 3.5 hours from being visible from this location. And this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. How beautiful. It's massive, however big this is. The book of Genesis talks about the firmament, the structure separating the waters from above from the waters below. That'd be my breath. And there's certainly a lot of particulate in the air. We do have weather modification, weather wars. Signals are bounced off, frequencies, electrical energy is bounced off of the firmament. That's what a lot of people naively understand as satellite signals. They're bouncing energy off of the structure, the firmament, like a molten glass dome. The firmament shows God's handiwork. Oh yeah. So this is once again Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth out here in my front yard on the driveway. Another simple example of the non-movement of the earth is a vertical hanging wind chime. Of course, it's real. Where in the world could a wind chime hang upside down in relationship to other wind chimes? Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. You may know him as Yeshua, Yahweh, the living word, the living water, the great I am, the Alpha and Omega. I'm taking the Truth Mobile, Lord willing, to the firmament for the Flatoberfest. It's happening in Greenville, South Carolina. This is a direct recording with the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I got it for such a time as this, to be able to capture this. You can mitigate some of the toxicity of the self-replicating nanoparticulate. Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam. Have you heard of it? Hashtag it. Apparently, images can be projected in the atmosphere, in the sky. Hashtag DARPA. Go to their official website. Hashtag Robert Forsch. You can see I've been very busy. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. There's a culmination of and a convergence of worlds, spiritual dimensions where demonic entities, angelic hosts reach through. Yeah, I'm not quite ready for the day. Anyway, I am getting ready. I'm actually always ready. Now, ready to do what God created me to do. The Alpha and Omega, my Heavenly Father, the great I Am. There's a cybernetic collective. That's the computer programmed humanity that is being manipulated and deceived in a massive, massive way. They're deceived and they don't know it. Most of humanity. To be intellectually honest, I know people say, well, I'm deceived. I understand people believe that. There's certain things that we can know, certain things that we have to believe because knowing isn't quite possible. Well, even though I'd like to have this be pretty the whole time, I'm not going to interrupt the recording to get my camera. I'm just going to keep it going. Hey, good morning. Good to see y'all. Okay. So I wasn't necessarily going to use the P1000 for this, and I opted to. Pun intended. Opted. We have high-powered digital technology to do what we previously couldn't do. We still don't have real-time actual video of our Earth from space. I mean, we've got high-altitude videography and photography, but we don't have a whole picture of the Earth, just the actual picture of it. There you go. How about that? So the moon and the sun are really close. In the book of Joshua, Joshua 10, God stopped the sun and the moon from moving. Job 37 states that the sun is in the midst of the clouds, I believe, as we can observe, and as I've captured many times. So there is still quite a bit of mystery with that. And there's certainly mystery with history, unexplained archaeological and architectural design and all of that. The pyramids, Stonehenge, Easter Island, Giza, all of that. Pyramids under the ocean or in the ocean. The flood that Noah prepared for had multiple water sources. The floodgates of heaven, the fountains of the deep, and rain. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and position this so I can pan it up. And then I'm going to take a picture with the P1000 and show it to you then. The truth is not afraid of investigation. And the truth is not determined by popular opinion, because it's not popular and, well, it's not an opinion. God determines what the truth is. I believe that's the reality of the world we live in. So God created the heavens and the earth. Satan, the usurper, Lucifer, wanted to rule, and he was cast out of heaven. He and a third of the angels, however many that was, don't exactly know. A lot of them. And I'm going to zoom out with the wide view, but I lose some of the light capabilities, the low light capacity. So it's more of a test to see how that worked. Well, it's spectacular as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to take another shot of it. And this is just amazing. So I've got other photos of it, of the firmament, apparently, or this effect in daylight. We got video of it. I actually have it on the audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation, and I was doing the book of Revelation out at the point in Cherry Grove. Oh, I'm going to try a couple of photos through this too. It's not, I don't know that it's allowing me to. So my liked videos playlist has millions of occurrences of it. There is censorship going on big time. I spend a lot of time to show the reality of the world that we live in. Now, there's a lot of people that transition from the human experience to an eternity without the use of their body. They die. And 7 people per second is over 100 million people a year. So where will you spend eternity and why? I'm convinced all of God's children will absolutely be born of His Spirit. That's for sure, and that's forever. That's why I do this. Some people love me and what I do, and some people love me and love to hate on me. Both. Artificial intelligence is the biggest existential threat to humanity. Now keep in mind, God is sovereign. He's in charge of everything that occurs. He either causes or allows it, from how I see things, how I believe this actually is. I want to try and show this to you as best I can. So a practical thing you can do if you want is to hashtag my name. It'll send the search rankings for my name up. And you can find a lot of interesting content. And some deception about me. I'm sure I know that there's some there. What do we believe? Seeing is believing. What? What do we see and what do we believe about what we see? Is it true? Or is it what we want to believe? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says to everybody forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. That's a big deal. There's no amount of convincing and memorizing facts about the creation that's going to cause a child of Satan to become a child of God. There's God's family and Satan's family, as best I can tell. That's my theological understanding of it. My understanding of God and our relationship with Him. He's not just hoping His children will recognize His plan of salvation. He causes it to happen. The gospel is foolishness to those that are perishing. Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh, the living Word, the living water, the great I Am. In the beginning was the Word was God, the Word was with God, the Word was God, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. In the Gospel of John, He says to everybody forever, you can't hear me because you're of your father, the devil. All right, if there were only one verse that stated that, that would be enough. You can see there's evidence in Scripture of the reality that we have two families, God's family and Satan's family. So we have a self-illuminating moon. illuminating as a light. This illumination, I have, let me grab my light once again. It's 2200 lumens of light. If you just Google Robert Forsh, you'll find a lot of others. If you hashtag it, there's thousands of results of my actual activity, and there's going to be more. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to put my hashtag Robert Forsh YouTube channel on everything that I can. My content. The content that I've spent my new life generating. And some of my old life, apparently, as well. So there are things that we can know, and then there are things that we have to believe because knowing isn't possible. What I know is about what happened with me is I'm not the man that I was. That is so obvious. Now that I'm actually born again, I have a passion, purpose, an eternal perspective, and the power to do what I previously couldn't do, and the pleasure to enjoy it all, even though it's very unpopular. Remember, the truth isn't popular, it's divisive. So according to Scripture, the moon is feminine, a feminine light, cooler, a cool light, and the sun is masculine, is male. Like a bridegroom coming out of his chambers. You can check it out. So what is the evidence of the Bible being actually true and real and reliable? Well, prophecy and fulfillment, that's a big deal. Prophetically proclaiming the end from the beginning. That will do. And then we've got archaeological evidence proving the Great Flood, Sodom and Gomorrah, and more. In the mountains of Ararat is where the archaeological evidence of Noah's Ark is. Ron Wyatt did the discovery. There's people on my YouTube channel, Truth, that have paid the ultimate price with their life to tell the truth. When Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yahweh, the Almighty, the Most Holy, the Living Word, took up flesh and dwelt among us and told us about this world, exposing the deception, they killed him. And he orchestrated the whole thing. How about that? He says to everybody forever of Judas Iscariot, it would have been better if that man had not been born. How about that? I spoke at Skyfall 2019. A lot of powerful information was revealed. I've been heard by over 40 million people, or at least 40 million times. How about that? That is God's sovereignty giving me favor or just outright causing that to happen? Do you feel yourself? I'll, I'll impersonate myself at the first Flat Earth Conference. Do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? I'm rock solid. We don't have toilet water flying out on people in Australia because of gravity. Well, hello, it's just water seeking its level. Water seeks level, covers the face of the earth, doesn't stick to a spinning ball. How about that? Whether you like it and or agree with it or not. They're lying. I ain't buying. Who's they? Well, Satan and all of those that are deceived. They can put Jesus' name or Yeshua or whatever God they want on their life and their activity, and unless they or you or anybody is born again, they will not even see the kingdom of heaven. How about that? Bam. Deal with it, whether you like it or not. So I'm tomorrow, after there's a storm approaching. Yeah, storm warning. There's weather modification, like I've mentioned, weather wars. Artificial intelligence beams energy up into the dome, into the firmament. Exactly how nuclear weapons worked, there was Operation Dominic, Fishbowl. Right after I was born, there was a whole bunch of nuclear activity trying to blast through the firmament, apparently. You can look it up. We had Operation Paperclip, where we got a bunch of war criminals to come on over. Oh, Werner von Braun, he wasn't just a good guy. He used to supervise the beating of people to death if they didn't meet their quota. Yeah, how about that? What about the Holocaust? Well, there was certainly atrocities that happened to humanity in Germany there. Now, the exact numbers of deaths and methods of what happened, I don't know. By irony and paradox, I don't know what I don't know, and neither do you. So as powerful and intimidating as AI is, artificial intelligence, God knows it all. That was the big crane. One like it flew over the other night when I was doing my recording during the daytime. How about that? So I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. I remember being aware of a lot of these actual conspiracies and being freaked right out. Trying to almost hide, pull the shades, all that. Not anymore. I'm right in plain sight. So when I say be going to the firmament event of Flattoberfest in Greenville, South Carolina, I'm not kidding. I'm not a religious phony saying just putting Lord willing on everything that I do. I'm seriously saying I don't know what I'll be able to do and for how much longer. I commented a few times on Eric Dubé's post. They are censoring him. And we have some differing theological perspectives on the deity in the nature of our world. Yet, so much of the work that Eric has done has been to bring this to light for modern man. I mean, reality is all around us. I get that. He has been instrumental in taking this discussion and making it public in our day and age. But before we had rocket launches and imaginary trips to the moon, this was being debated and discussed in academia. Before we had the movie The Matrix, there was a lot of talk about simulation and imagination. And then in the book of Genesis, we've got Genesis 6, where a couple hundred angels, fallen angels, watchers, went down to Mount Hermon and corrupted humanity sufficiently that God flooded the earth. There were Nephilim in the land before and after the flood. If you don't find all this interesting, you're not paying attention. Angels long to look into this. The issues of salvation, of soul regeneration. I was a dead man walking, and I did not know it. So I thought I was born again in 2000, or actually in 1982. I cried, repented, was fully immersed, baptized in a baptismal in First Baptist Church of Corpus Christi, Texas. That was in 1982. Then I was baptized in California, in the Pacific Ocean. And then, after a life of self-effort, struggle, and attempts on my life, including by my own hands, I was born again in 2014. Wow. There's a new sheriff in town. I'm telling you, I'm not the guy that I was. I am not afraid at all. I'm not afraid to go live. I'm not afraid to go on a talk show. Am I going to get to do that? I got my own frickin' talk show. I just record this stuff and people can do with it what they want. If you want to, I've got friends that make videos of what I do. One of the challenges is there is distribution and censorship. So yes, the sun and the moon being really close, local. I am absolutely amazed. If you've looked in my room, well, I walked and talked in there earlier. I don't need to run back in there. I'm going to tell you, I got a glimpse out of one of the mirrors of what's going on up here in the sky right now, with showing this beautiful display, and I just ran on out here to do this. That's a garbage truck picking up trash right now. We've got autonomous weapons. We've got autonomous Tesla vehicles. Some are saying, oh, Elon Musk is all concerned and afraid about AI. Are you kidding? He's got technology to inject it in the head, in our cranium, in our brains, neural link with the neural lace. Oh yeah, well, his persona is kind of like Captain Marvel hero. How about it? And yeah, so he made the world's fastest production car and pretended to launch it into space. Well, apparently he successfully launched it into the imagination of quite a few people. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. I'm not buying that. He's lying and I ain't buying. They're lying. It's everybody who's deceived. As best I can tell, that's a huge amount of humanity that is absolutely deceived. And by irony and paradox, they don't know it. with pride as a powerful catalyst, they think they got it figured out. How about that? They may have a trophy partner and a lot of digits in their Monopoly Money bank account and letters around their name and peer-reviewed journals and books they author, and la-ti-da. Oh well. Pride is a powerful catalyst for deception. There is deception all around us. How will you recognize the truth when it's right in front of you? I want this to go viral. I want millions and millions of people to see this. It's a direct recording on my iPhone 11 Pro Max. Yeah, I had to have the best I could afford. I know there's better videography or videographic equipment. It's just what I've got now. However, on my channel, there's 4K video, high definition, time lapse, crystalline skies. Nigel Stanford. I like a lot of his music. I don't know that we're on the same team. He shows cymatics. Brilliant. Keep in mind, there are brilliant minds all around us. And as impressive as that is, God knows everything. He knows the end from the beginning. He's all-knowing. Omniscience looks like omniscience when you spell it out. Omniscience. So I don't know it all, and I know that. That's something I can know. I can know that I don't know it all. How about that? Kind of a paradox. So some of my hashtagging is for the purposes on my own channel. You can hashtag stuff on my channel and you'll find interesting topics. Sometimes I hashtag artificial intelligence because I want you to look at it. I'll hashtag the CIA and DARPA and Google and Facebook because I want you to see what the heck is declassified and all around us. The truth is hidden in plain sight. We've known for a long time, or at least I have and many of us have, that television is mind control. What happens when you contaminate the wetware between your ears? The people that are talking about artificial intelligence, some of them, I believe, are expressing quite a few realities. However, when they're giving this singularity or this time frame of in the future, when it may get out of control, it's out of control right now. It's out of our control. It's not out of God's control. He controls everything. How about that? So I'm leveraging this technology, and He's doing it through me. 5 years ago, I couldn't have done this. I wouldn't have. As best I can tell, I was born again on Reformation Day. It's also celebrated by Satan's family and the unknowing participants that sweeten up the deal with candy distribution, Halloween. A lot of the modern dates that are celebrated in humanity, Christmas, Saturnalia, it's pagan, wicked holiday. Easter, all about Ashtaroth and fertility and human sacrifice. All the satanic holy days, holy from a satanic standpoint, they're wicked and they're not biblical. I commemorate new life in Christ every day, perpetually. We're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. Where will you spend eternity and why? So how did the proclamation get on Werner von Braun's tombstone? Psalms, the heavens declare the glory of God. I've got Psalms recorded on my audio Bible with a spectacular day out at the Point in Cherry Grove. I'll be headed out there soon. I've got to download this and upload it and then head on out to the beach. I believe. I believe I will. But right now, this is the main show. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pan this down and I'm going to show it a little bit differently now. So reality exposes the global lie, the global deception. If you're subscribing to a Watchman on the Wall that's talking about Planet X and visiting aliens and NASA insiders like Steve Quayle or Genesis 6 Productions, I was at Skyfall and a gentleman, a friend of mine, shared how he stood up at the conference and asked a question about the firmament and about the biblical cosmology. They shut him down. It's not possible for things to hang upside down. The imaginings of gravity and the spinning water ball is it's liquid fantasy. It's not reality. Like I say, the space NASA's concerned with is between your ears. Big time. And they've got high-powered technology to activate nanoparticulate, self-replicating nanoparticles that have invaded our bodies. Boron is a way to mitigate some of that. Mule 20 team borax, how about that? You can put a quarter teaspoon in a gallon of water if you want. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better, maybe. If you should like a YouTube Truth sticker, you could send a self-addressed stamped envelope to 169 Cloverleaf Drive. It's where I live. That's why I say I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. I know that's sensitive information, of course. But it's public. It's personal information, but it's all very publicly known. Easily findable. Easily searchable. I put my phone number on my stuff so that it can be searched out. Look at this stuff. I didn't see anybody else do this and say, "Hey, I think I'm gonna copy this or that channel." No, I've thought outside the box of what's normal by many for a long time. My wife Joni says, that's not normal. You're not normal. Well, good. Thanks. Thanks for paying attention. I know this isn't normal. We live in amazing times. So when I go to the beach and I have my chair out there, people will be jogging by, they'll be running by. I had a gentleman come up and talk to me yesterday. He said he's been trying to find me for a year. Bless his heart. We met last year out on the beach. Well, I wanted to make it a little bit easier. I mean, it's easy for our neighbors to find me. Yeah, no kidding. Here I am. I want to show you something ironic. Yeah, I'm ironic. Here we go. We got a neighborhood watch program, and the eyeball is shooting right over to my house. How about that? So there you go. I'm not doing anything illegal here. How about that? Yep, this wind chime does the same thing. So, one of the things that I've noticed, it's harder to capture it when it's happening. But this right here, the sun and the moon will bounce. There, I'll show you right there, in my room. Sun in my room. So the sun shoots down in this right here, and it moves all around in my room, just like that. Who does that kind of stuff? I do. I think it's freaking cool. I love to get to do what I get to do. You got mirrors all around in there. See that? They bounce all over the place. You ought to see the cats chase after the laser beam that I've got to test the temperature. Okay, that water does that. These wind chimes hang like that. Can you see the water there? How about now? Wonder if I'm going to freak out a few frogs and skeeters and stuff. So I did some video of stars the other night. Got it on my channel. You can check it out. And then I've got, they're hard to do. So I can see the light bouncing off of the water onto the trees right there. See that? Okay, I'm doing that. Here, let me turn it sideways so you can see the whole thing happening. How about that? That's just how it actually works. Right? Let's do it over here. We're expecting some high winds here. If it looks like my yard is a little cluttered there, yeah, I had to go ahead and put the chairs and put sandbags so they don't blow all over the place. We had Hurricane Florence last year flooded our neighborhood. I talked about it. Okay, I want to show you the whole thing. So when I'm lying in bed, I've got it situated so that it's on top of a pool table there. It's a Select Comfort. So I'm shining here. It's bouncing off of the glass. See? It's just how it works. It's bird bath. Same thing. It's a crock. the water is flat and level. So we don't have as much visibility of the firmament now, or whatever you believe that is. You may say it's just atmospheric particulate and luminary refraction. I know how to use big words too. I was reading encyclopedias when I was a kid in school. I've invented stuff. The flow-through coffee bag, how about that? 14 years before it went public. It was pretty simple. It was an adaptation of a technology that already existed. Tea bags, and I thought, hey, it'd be great to put coffee in there because this Folgers Crystals sucks. I was a single guy living in an apartment, and I didn't have a coffee maker. I had crystals, coffee crystals. The temperature differential that drives the whole water cycle of the world will pull moisture out of the air. My heat pump. It's just the way it works. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? That depends on the temperature. Volume and density change with temperature. It's testable, repeatable, verifiable reality. Joni is not here right now. She's watching a friend's pets. What's this? What do I have here? I'll show you. Show and tell, baby. It's a, let's see, it's called Fresh Air. Used to sell these too. Not selling anything now. Just giving it away. By EcoQuest. I'm going to put on the away mode. It smells like a lightning bolt just flashed through the atmosphere. Cotton. Interesting, huh? Now we've got a lot of microfiber. So this right here is, hey Frank. Oh, that's Pearl. I'll show you her in just a minute. But that's our HVAC system, and where the air goes in. And it's the best filter I could get for it, that I could afford. So I'm going to show you Pearl. Love the kitties. They're called Sphinx kitties. Hi, Pearl. How are you, baby? They call this variety an elf for obvious reasons. Oh, yeah, my hands are cold, baby, I know. Isn't she funny? So when I talked about the, I guess this is going to be a little bit longer recording. Yeah, go figure. So I'm going to, I know what I want to do. I want to grab the, I'm going to go wake Dean up. Dean is the best at chasing around after the laser beam. So that's part of the construct, part of the mirrors all around the room. And let's see, I can show you with the, let's see, let's tune this up a little bit. Yeah, here it is. This one right here. Watch what happens. Yeah, right there. How about that? Well, that flash was intentional. I was wanting to have it come right back into the light of the camera. There it is. So, for years I've been doing stuff like this. So I could turn the TV on this way, or I could go like right here and turn it on from there, I believe. There it is. Watch. It'll turn on.
We can't change that. What we can change is the future.
Microsoft AI and Sylvia Terra are empowering landowners so they can grow the forests of the future. Every single person has a stake in this.
I want you to consider what's on here right now.
And to Adam he said, "Because you've listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you. And you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust you shall return." And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth. The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every bird of the heavens, upon everything that creeps on the ground, and all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. But you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. And for your lifeblood I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it from man. From his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. And you, be fruitful and multiply, increase greatly on the earth and multiply in it." Now the whole earth had one language and the same words. And as people migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens. And let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth." And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of man had built. And the Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they have all one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do. And nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, so that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord dispersed them from all over the face of the earth, and they left off building the city. Therefore its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord dispersed them all over the face of the earth.
Never before, our world is changing. Faced with some of our most critical challenges, human ingenuity triumphs. Today, the Microsoft AI for Good initiative enables a person with an idea to accelerate it, to give it scale, to create change for the better.
So dominion over the entire earth, the animals, the plants, was all given to man. After the fall, the ground was cursed, and we were forced to work the land by the sweat of our brow to grow food. But humanity's rebellion against God and his way of redemption has always congregated around a collective humanist drive to counter the effects of the fall through our own industrious efforts. Forging metals, cutting stone, building cities, directing water, building roads, conquering oceans, harnessing lightning, and then channeling this mysterious energy through magnets and coils, tubes and transistors. We've now come to the point of extending this tapestry of digital integration over the entire Earth, over the plants, the animals, and most of all, ourselves. There is no small measure of irony to the fact that in our quest to remove ourselves as much as possible from the prospect of toiling in the fields under the sun, we've turned to technology again and again in order to find more efficient ways of doing things with less manpower. And now it's come to this. where even the functions of man's own calculations and intellect are being outsourced to our own creations, and turned ourselves into bond slaves through our ever-increasing reliance upon these algorithmic overlords. God never gave us dominion over the heavens, only the earth. But in our yearning to reach for the stars, quote unquote, it seems only fitting that this electromagnetic sorcery we've been obsessed with for over a century now has resulted in this invisible electrical ziggurat that puts the original Babel to shame. What do you suppose the biblical patriarchs would think if they could see our time, and we were to try and explain how human beings had mastered the ability to harness and organize the essence of light itself on a microscopic level, using millions upon millions of tiny switches that no eye can even see? How would a person of faith from ancient times try to wrap their head around a concept like artificial intelligence, having never grown up in an environment where media and entertainment had been pushing the concept into their mind from the earliest age, as it has been with us? Could they fathom the idea that we have effectively built the most audacious idol in all of history, and that this idol has no face of its own, at least not yet, but at the same time consists of every face that's been captured by the eyes of this nebulous creature made of conduit and computer chips? And do we even recognize and appreciate that for ourselves?
Today, right now, you have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. Think about that. That's what technology really is. It's possibility, it's adaptability, it's capability. But in the end, it's only a tool. What's a hammer without a person who swings it? It's not about what technology can do, it's about what you can do with it. You're the voice, and it's the microphone. When you're the artist, it's the paintbrush. We are living in the future we always dreamed of. We have mixed reality that changes how we see the world, and AI empowering us to change the world we see. You have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. So here's the question. What will you do with it?
Then the seventh angel blew his trumpet, and there were loud voices in heaven saying, "The kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever." And the 24 elders who sit on their thrones before God fell on their faces and worshipped God, saying, We give thanks to you, Lord God Almighty, who is and who was, for you have taken your great power and begun to reign. The nations raged, but your wrath came, and the time for the dead to be judged, and for rewarding your servants, the prophets and saints, and those who fear your name, both small and great, and for destroying the destroyers of the earth.
About that. So that video will be linked in the description.
Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I wanted to go ahead and start this broadcast early enough to show you the beauty and majesty of creation here at the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier, also known as the location of the Prince Resort here in.
Okay, so kind of interesting. That's a mirror, you know, even though it's a window, depending on light. There's the Truth Mobile, of course, at the beach there. This is an interesting situation we live in. What will we do? What will we do with it? You know? So one of the other things that I have going on here, I have displays of the simplicity of the water exposing the impossibility of the globe. The simplicity of a little crystal bell. See how it's not moving? And that'll stop. I'll just help it slow down a bit. You know, you don't have to feel sorry for me sleeping on a slate pool table with an air mattress with microfiber. It's pretty awesome. I've got a lot of plants in here generating oxygen. The mirrors, you know, a few dollars each, most of them at the Goodwill. It's not a lavish lifestyle, but it's nice. You got to fix that hair up a little bit. This is the jacket I wore to the first Flat Earth conference. Yeah. I got one of the best dressed awards from the Triggered Troll. How about that? Making fun of me. I don't mind. So, like when I'm chilling in here and getting ready to come on out and do what I do, right here I've got the, I want to show you what this looks like with purified water only, without the borax in it. So one of the other things that I wanted to highlight here too is when I'm sitting in the chair here and the sun is coming through the window and reflecting all around, or the moonlight is, it's all part of my studio. This right here is highly purified water. That is super clean. I don't know if you can tell how clean that is, but wow, it's kind of blinding when I shoot that in there. It's almost like too much. Let me, I'll put the other light on. Okay, so I haven't disturbed the water yet. I just want to show you some of the practical things. What if I bump it? See that ripple? And then it gets real still. So, a couple of things I want to talk about in here with this. Hey, Frank. How are you, buddy? Oh, yeah. Good boy. Yeah. How's it going? Frank is our special needs kitty. He is adorable. They're all adorable in their own way. Boy, all this talking, I think I need to have a big gulp of water. Mm-hmm. How about it, Frank? Here, let's use the zoom feature. See, and this water will do the same thing. The kitties love it. And it'll get still. You know, this right here, this may look gross, but these are the exfoliating gloves and a scrubbing brush in a combination of borax and baking soda. Ain't going to be any fungus growing in there. And then a little coconut oil for the brain and the body. A quarter cup of that a day I drink, typically. The baking soda kills fungus. So does the borax. I'll put a quarter of a teaspoon in a gallon of water to drink it, or about a cup in roughly 30 gallons of water. It's not a sensory deprivation tank. It's a cleaner that I'll use to clean myself with. These water jugs I fill up with my reverse osmosis drinking water system. Yeah, I can tell my water is hot enough now. Oh yeah. And this was heated apparently with nuclear power. We've got Southport and nuclear power plant nearby. I'm going to bring the front one up to temperature as well. One of the practical things that I'll do, I'll just show you some of this stuff. Like I'm busy and doing a lot of different things. This is filling up. Reverse osmosis is an excellent technology, very cost effective. I can make over 70 gallons a day. Plenty of water for me to bathe in. Apple cider vinegar, really good. WD-40, that's for electrics, but that works great too. What I did here, even though the garage needs some organizing, I've got a whole house, couple of 18-inch carbon filters to filter all the water of the house before it even gets into there. Okay? I'll make my coffee whenever I jolly well please. How about that? I'll drink it any time of the day I want. I'm okay with that. Dr. Marcus Welby did the Sanka commercial. Dang it, Jim! Oh, nerves are you're a little nervous. Yeah. So what I'll do is I made it a while ago before I went out to do the recording, and I'll just dump it in here. I'll have it whenever I want it. That works good. This is the midlife crisis coffee mug. I got that for my 40th birthday, August 5th. And then we had September 11 shortly after that, right? That's what happened, yeah. So I'll liquefy in this fruits, vegetables, and more. Hemp hearts, apple cider vinegar, and then I'll put it in the repurposed containers. One of my friends said, how could I support Starbucks? This is a repurposed. I found it alongside the road. The guys were putting in our sidewalk, and I went and picked it up after they left it behind. That's okay. We live in the world, but I'm not of the world. So right here, that'll level out. Now Frank, I'm going to put Frank right on the spot here. I don't want to scare him, but he's peeing right there. Good job, Frank. So here's the deal with that. Frank is our special needs cat. He used to pee on the carpet. I got him trained so that he does that. He hit the target pretty good. Now I'll wipe that up. That's paper towel, and then it's a special, good boy, Frank. Yeah, I don't want him to freak out. I want him to keep on going there and doing that. And but he has no problem using the pine pellets for pooping. Okay. The neat thing about the pine pellets is that they don't give off the dust that turns into like a scoopable. Okay, you got scoopable litter. Well, my leather coat had a thermal mass to it, meaning it would sweat. You know, if it's really cool in the house. Yeah, there's a little evidence of that from yesteryear. But what ended up happening, actually, that's dust. But what would happen is that that clumpable, scoopable litter, when inhaled, isn't healthy. It's not healthy to breathe in concrete. It's not healthy to breathe in asbestos. Of course, the cleanup for the World Trade Center was a controlled demolition, and we saw dustification. There was directed energy weapons technology clearly used for that, right? How about that? Those bastards, yeah, Satan's kids. It's probably what the Bushes are, as far as I know. Who are these people anyway? How can they do this stuff? Killing others. We've got, there's so much I would want to talk about. I can't even flip this around when I'm doing a direct recording. I have to do it like this. Oh, here's Dean. Dean is funny. I told you I was going to get the laser beam out for Dean. Hey, Dean. See him? Hey, buddy. What's going on? He's naughty and very adorable, of course. They've all got real special cat skills. Look at them. I've got video. Yeah, here. Let me move that for you, Dean. I think now you'll be able to make it there, right? Oh, let's go get the laser beam for Dean. He's funny. He likes that. He'll know right away. Frank isn't as concerned about it, but Dean, he's right on it. Now watch what happens with the glass. Yeah. So it's kind of funny. I've talked about this. What is a washing machine? An anti-gravity device. So when this thing fills up, the water runs down into the washing machine. I'll turn it off for now. No, let's leave it on, fill it all the way up. But so like the light shoots in from all around here. Dean is really fast. I don't want to run him into stuff, so I've got to kind of be careful where I haven't seen him smack into anything. And see Frank, he's like I said, he's our special needs kitty. He's not going to get too carried away. But Dean, he's on it. So one of the things that I'll cut this off now. Temperature differential drives the water cycle of the world. We've got hydroelectric power. See the resistance released from the steam? If I push that down, it'll find its way out of its vessel. You've got to have a barrier, a chamber to have a vacuum. We live in a pressurized atmosphere. We've got the firmament up above us. So we don't know what we don't know. I know enough to know I don't know everything. How about that? So here's the Ninja. That's what I used to liquefy all that. When we had the last hurricane and that I liquefied about 5 gallons of that highly nutritious food. I can run my refrigerator with the car. I've got an inverter in there. Oh, yeah, here I am doing the upside down. Look at that. Oh, sideways. How about that? I called them Veeams.
That's the reality of that. We don't have the upside down world. I remember it sounded odd when I was a child. It didn't make sense to me. And they said, well, gravity, Sir Isaac Newton got hit in the head with an apple and proved that we live on a spinning water ball hurling through space. Not buying that crap anymore. I've had enough of the science fiction. How about you? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put my mug on there. Mad as hell, and I'm not taking it anymore. How about that? Howard Beale from Network. There's predictive programming all over. Elections, the illusion of choice. You have no choice. You have owners. George Carlin had a pretty raw sense of humor. However, he did help us laugh at our enslavement, right? That's part of the construct. Is that comedians help us laugh at the emperor enslaving us. Well, I'm saying the New World Order is the mark of the beast system. It's the beast system.
That's
There's a kill
Smeagol.
grid all around us. Have you ever heard it in military terms? They're in the kill zone, in the kill box. That's all of us, folks. We're all there. Now, I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. I was a dead man walking and didn't know it. And then when I was born again, the me that I was died. The reason I struggled with addiction in the flesh is that's all I had.
Sound
That was
familiar?
my human nature. And then God sovereignly reached in, gave me his Holy Spirit and a love for the truth concurrently and a desire to do what he created me to do. How about that? So we've got the treasure hunters, the beach walkers, the dog walkers, just the beauty and majesty of this. About 20 million people came here last year to see this out here. And then I've taken people from all over the world here. If you want to drop a comment where you're watching from on any of my stuff, ever, that's cool. Every notification I get turns into an email. I've got about 250,000 emails, a lot of approval, and yeah, people love me. People love to hate me. It all works for me. It all works for God's grand purpose.
It's
I'm
not a
zoomed in on
sphere.
the moon pretty tight. I'm going to go 125 times now. Come on, baby, focus in. The video I did last night, I zoomed in on a star. Pretty cool. So I'm going to say this very succinctly, where the sun and the moon appear and vanish on the horizon, and their duration of visibility is completely obvious evidence that they are moving in not a uniform rotation, supposed rotation of the water ball we're told we live on. The sun moves across the water like a laser beam. Look at that. So I produce a lot of content. Each one of them is a billboard for the truth. Check it out if you care to. Or not. Either way, it works for the overall purpose. This is not sales. I don't get a commission on somebody waking up because of what I do. I'm not earning my way into heaven. That's already been determined. I'm just enjoying the ride of inviting other people to come on along. Seek the truth with all your heart. It's going to require divine intervention. You're not going to be able to figure this whole thing out yourself. The gospel is foolishness to those that are perishing. I understand the Bible is circular logic. Works for me. How about for you? Is there stuff you want to stop doing, but you don't have enough power to stop it? That was me. I couldn't stop doing the stuff that I knew I should stop doing. I needed more power.
So, I got more power. That's what happened. I got the upgrade. Smeagol, what you doing? Hey, boy. Hi, buddy. Wakey, wakey. Time to wake up, buddy. Oh, he's going to do his stretching. Come here, boy. All right, so I'm going to end this right now and go ahead and get on going to out to the beach. If you want a spherical water ball, you need a container for it. That works. Right, Smeagol? Smeagol, do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? Nah, doesn't look like it. All right, so there you go. Thank you so much. I'm going to download, upload, and get cleaned up and head out to the beach.